Anyway, so tonight's episode is about childhood. We're going to talk about the time that we all experienced, because every one of you goddamn people was a boy or a girl at one time in your life. Some artful. I mean, yeah, some people. Oh, and this is it's the first episode, so I mean, as far as this like meaning anything special, it really doesn't mean anything. But you guys will come to realize or recognize that this is a very mythical artifact that changed your life. Anything that comes out of your brain is on there immediately. So
anything you remember from your childhood, anything you imagine in the future or the past, we can actually just summon right here. It's an incredible power.
What are we calling it?
Picture frame. The soul peephole. The peephole into your soul.
Yeah, people soul.
Like
soul people.
Right now, this is Lance's high school senior photos. Right there. Amboed out and ready to take the world.
Okay. Dude, that is actually true. Beautiful. I'm not even going to explain. You'll see it with your own pupils. So before we jump into childhood, we have to, there's something before childhood, and it was our consciousness coming into being. And do you guys even remember that? Do you remember your brain happening?
I remember when my brain flicked on, and I think it was because it's weird because you just had to exist before that, but I don't remember any of it. Which thank God I don't, because that shit was probably so weird. Dude, there's probably so much weird stuff. But I remember the very first thing I remember was when I was 2 years old. My mom walked me out into the ocean in Florida, and I remember it washing my legs and stuff, and I was throwing breadcrumbs at these seagulls, and they're all flying down and stuff. But that's I feel you need something that's very stimulating to flick your brain on. You know what I'm saying? What was the first thing you remember? What's the very first thing?
Dude, I got two things. I feel I'm a dream. I dreamed myself. No, it's the first thing I had was being lost in a clothes aisle or something at I don't know, Home Depot or something. I don't know. It was the first time I ever woke up in a my parents shop in weird places.
Straight up wood.
Clothes. But no, those little those circles that they put the clothes in and you hide from your parents or whatever. I remember, but I know it was a dream because I could see the cloud and fog around it. That was my first memory ever. And then the other time I was my older brother was playing a video game with his friends, and I was like, hey guys. And I just peed my pants in front of all of them. And that's it. Those two things at the same time pyramided into my...
I was at a daycare, and I remember, I don't even know what I did, but my first memory is this door opening and seeing the light wash over me and knowing I was in trouble. And so my first memory ever is I'm in trouble and I'm in timeout. What a way to start your existence.
I feel that's something that would flick your brain on, I was saying, because that's scary, dude. Mm-hmm. When you were a kid, getting in trouble was so scary. I remember going to the principal's office for we were throwing rocks at, I swear, we were at Rogers and we were throwing rocks at this big pile of horse poop. We were little kids, so we were throwing rocks at this horse poop, and this teacher saw it from super far away, and she thought we were throwing it at this expensive satellite that they just installed. So she drove up all irate and was I saw it clear as day and stuff, and sent us to the principal's office. And I told the principal, I was so scared, and the kid next to me was crying. I was I swear we were throwing rocks at poop. It wasn't the satellite. And he goes, I don't care, guys. No more rocks. And we that was terrifying, dude.
You guys ever have checks after your names on the board? First it was your name on the board, which is the worst thing that could ever happen to you. And then there's that check. It's 15 minutes of your recess and your heart stops. But 2 checks, you missed like a whole week of recess, dude. It was so evil. My kindergartner teacher did it like a kid on his first day of the whole school year. Like he did it on the first day of the kid's probably never been the same.
Third check, they broke your fingers.
Yeah,
That's actually real. They used to do that.
Dude, the first memory I can think of was I was a wee youngster, but I remember being in the greasy fucking slides at McDonald's. That's how they cleaned out like those fryers, is they just put it in the way.
They pour it down the slide.
I remember this one, the one by my house. Like you got down the slide, and then there was like a ledge and a ball pit, and I just full ran and jumped on a kid. And he cried a lot, so something could have been broken, but I dealt with
Wait.
murder.
Are
I
you
felt
saying
bad
That was
for
his
years.
first memory too.
That's another dude.
Ruining it.
That's
It
another
was like
thing.
this kid with a chainsaw leg just cut me in half. It was fucking terrible.
That's another thing that's crazy is like all the crazy injuries and stuff, dude. Like when I was a little kid, I got a dart stuck in my head. Like that's insane. Like if that happened to me now, I'd have like a mental breakdown. But dude, like I was out in my backyard and this kid, we were throwing darts in the yard. They were like bar darts. I don't know why we had them or why we were throwing them in the backyard. But he tried to throw one back up to me. I was up on the deck and he was on the ground. And he was like, "Hey, catch!" And I was like, "What are you doing?" And I saw it coming like this. It almost stuck directly in my pupil. I swear to God, the accuracy was unbelievable. It would have been, dude, it would have been a bullseye. Yeah, it would have been a bullseye. But I saw it at the last second. I looked like this, and it stuck in my temple. And my brother was standing right here, and so I was just looking at him with a dart and his face was just like.
He probably thought you were dead.
Yeah, no, I was
You
afraid.
could have dropped your knees and was cold over.
Yeah, and like it didn't even like hurt until I pulled it out, and then blood was just pouring out, and it was all over my hand. And I started like crying.
I saw that happen to a kid when I was a kid.
A dart to the
As well. A
Didn't
kid
you-
got a dart.
He's a
Didn't you hook a kid with a fishing
Oh,
rod?
yeah, I did do that. I was at summer camp one time, and I was like, thought I was a badass for like holding the fishing pole over my shoulder, but the hook was dangling, and the kid was like walking by and it snagged him. I just dropped the fishing pole.
Yeah, what a
Wait. So what's up with this kid now? Does he still have like?
How big was he?
That was like 6 years. I was like
It
6.
scarred to his eyeball.
Yeah.
Did you notice it?
I probably
You tried to
ruined that
reel
kid's
it in a
life.
little bit. Like, were you jerking it or like what? Like
I was staring at it.
He was real man.
Really, the blade, it's his fault. Like,
oh, you're kidding.
You never walk behind Huck Finn, ever. Dude, I remember, I guess being like 5 or 6, and we were outside playing with the neighborhood kids. My older sister had this bike, and it didn't have like the rubber things on there, so it was just pure like a metal tube.
Oh, I know exactly
And she
what
was
you're
like,
talking about.
"Hey, watch my bike," and threw it, and I was wearing no shoes, and it hit my toe and popped my toenail off like a fucking ball. Yeah.
Dude, another cringe story. My neighbor when I was a kid was riding a bike in flip-flops. And that's really all you need to say.
Dude, that's what my name
All his
is.
toenails did that.
Dude, guaranteed you'll have a neighbor that rode his bike with no shoes. And that's
Yeah.
a lesson.
When's the first time you ever like realized that like animals are mean? You read all those like zoo books and animal books like your whole life, and they have smiley faces on them, and then you go out and they bite you in the wilderness.